Good morning, my dear students. Can you hear me properly and can you see the board properly? Let me know. Okay, so today I will continue the chapter, which is chapter number 9. Clear? And today I will discuss about the some terrestrial habitats. So here today's topic is some terrestrial habitat. As you know that what is the meaning of terrestrial habitats? That means those plants and animals which are living on the land are said to be in terrestrial habitat. And under the terrestrial habitat we will find some types of habitat. What are they? These are grassland, forest, desert, mountain. So what are the different terrestrial habitats? Desert, mountain, grassland, forest. So these are the different types of terrestrial habitats, and we have to know the plants and animals which are living in these terrestrial habitats. So first I will discuss about the desert. So first I will discuss about the desert. Now, for knowing the adaptation of different plants and animals in the desert area, first we have to know about the climate of the desert. So, all of we know that the climate of the desert is very dry and hot. So, the climate is dry and hot, right? Now, in the desert, there will be very little vegetation. Why? Because in the desert, the less waterfall will be there. So, the only few plants can survive in the desert due to its climate. That means due to hot and dry weather and low waterfall, very low vegetation can be found there. Okay, now first I will discuss about the different animals of the desert. So desert animals. So in my previous class I have discussed about the main desert animal, which is camel, right? And the camel is called as sheep of the desert. Now let me revise that part. Why camel is called as sheep of the desert? Because camel is adapted to the desert condition because of the following reason. What reason? First one is the camels are having long legs so that they can keep their body away from the heat of the sand. Second one was that they are having pads on their limbs so that they can move on the hot and slippery sand. So that is the first point. What is the second point? Second point is that the hump of the camel is the reservoir of the food in the form of fat. So in the hump of the camel, the fat is reserved. Third point is that it drinks very large quantity of water and they can store it in some water cells, muscles. Okay, they can store it into the different parts of the body. Fourth point is that they can live many days without drinking water for near about 2 weeks. Okay, and they can excrete very less amount of water through their urine, and they sweat very less. Okay, and another is that they can adjust its internal temperature according to their surrounding air. So these are the, and it sweats profusely in the bright sun to maintain its body temperature. So these are the some main properties of camels. With the help of these, they can be able to survive in the desert. Clear? Clear everyone? Now, beside camel, there are some animals which can survive in the desert. What are they? As we know that rat, snake. Okay, so in the desert, different types of rats and snakes can be found. But as you can see that rats are very small animal and they are not having long legs like camel, right? Now, how they will be able to survive in the desert? So, as they are not having long legs, so for protecting their body from the heat, they will not come out during the daytime. They will come out at night. That means they will stay away from the intense heat during the day. That small animals which can be found in the desert area, they will stay away from the intense heat during the day. Clear? Now, where they will stay? They will stay in the deep burrows in the sand. In the sand, they will make a deep burrows and they will stay inside that deep burrows. Clear? And when they will come out? They will come out in the night. Okay, so the animals will come out only during the night when it is cooler. You know the climate of the desert is that at the daytime it is very hot, but at the night it will be cooler. Okay, so as you know the two terms, that is hibernation and estivation. Okay, so some animals hide inside some burrows for 8 to 9 months in a year, that these for surviving themselves from the winter, this property is called as hibernation. And some animals can withstand the heat of the sun, so they will be inside the burrows, and this is called as estivation. Now, as I have mentioned that you will read that part in higher classes. Okay, so here the animals which are staying inside the burrows during the daytime, and they will become. Everyone switch off your mic. Don't create any kind of noise because your friends are having problem. হৈমব্রত পান্ডা, keep your mic in mute condition. Moinak, why are you disturbing? Now it's okay? হৈমব্রত, I am telling you, mute your mic. হৈমব্রত, mute your mic. Now okay? Okay, Moinak? Okay. So, what I was discussing, that the animals which are coming out or which are active during the night, so that they can prevent the water loss from the body and they can protect their body from the heat of the sun, these are called as nocturnal. As you know that term, those which are coming out at night, which are called as nocturnal. Okay, so these are the some properties of animals which are helping them to survive in the desert. That means with their different type of criteria, they are surviving in the desert. Now if I discuss about the plants, so next I will talk about the plants, how plants are surviving in the desert area. The plants which are found in the desert area are called as xerophytes. Okay, the plants which can be found in the desert area are called as xerophytes. So, what properties these xerophytes are having? Desert plants or xerophytes release very less amount of water through transpiration. You know that what is transpiration? Transpiration is a process by which excess amount of water can be lost throughout the body as water vapor. Okay. So, where the water amount is very less, plants have to store water inside their body. They have to modify their body like that so that they can store or lose very less amount of water. So, first point is that desert plants lose very little water through transpiration. Second one is that in the desert plants, most of the desert plants are not having leaves. Leaves are absent, or in some leaves may be present, and most of the cases leaves will be converted into spines. Okay, leaves will be converted into the spines. Why? Because this help in reducing loss of water from the leaves through transpiration. This is helping them to reduce less amount of water through transpiration. So, in the cactus, you have seen that this type of structure can be found in the cactus opuntia, and these are not the exact leaves. These are actually stems. Okay. Usually, and the photosynthesis can be carried out with the help of these stems, because these are, as you know, that the plants can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So, with the help of that photosynthesis or this greeny stem like structure, they are performing the photosynthesis. Okay. And another important part, their leaves and the part of the plants are covered with a thick waxy layer. Okay. And which is called as cuticle. Which is called as cuticle. So, it is covered with a thick waxy layer. So, as you know that with through the waxy layer, water cannot pass. That's why they are covering their body with a waxy layer which is called as cuticle. These can be found on the stems and leaves for the prevention of loss of water. Okay. So, with the help of their stem and the leaves are covered with a thick waxy cuticle layer, so which help to retain water. Okay. Now, another is they are having stomata, but this type of stomata is called as sunken stomata, which is opening of the stomata is present inside and which is helping them to reduce the rate of transpiration. Okay. Now, another part is that the root of the desert plant goes very deep inside the sand. Why? Because in the desert, there is very low amount of water is available. That's why they are sending their roots into the deep inside the sand so that they can absorb the water from the soil. That is the another important criteria of xerophytic plants or the plants which can be found in the desert. Clear? So, I am repeating that most desert plants have roots that go very deep into the soil for absorbing water. So, these are main criteria of desert plants and animals. Next, I will discuss about the mountain region. Okay, xerophytes means that the plants that grow under very poor water condition such as in desert are called xerophytes. Clear? I am repeating that the plants that grow under very poor water condition such as the desert are called as xerophytes. Clear, Moinak? Everyone switch off your camera and microphone. Moinak, clear right now? Okay, very good. So, any doubt from the desert habitat? Any doubt from desert habitat? No, very good. So, now I will discuss about the mountain regions or mountain habitat. Now, if I consider the climate of the mountain region, who will tell me the answer? What will be the climate of the mountain habitat? Any guess? Minus 50 degree. That means that the habitats are normally very cold. The habitat of mountain region is very cold and windy. Okay. So, the habitat of the the climate of the mountain habitat is very cold and windy. Okay, in some mountains that rains occur very frequently, and in the winter snowfall may occur. In the one, snowfall is common during the winter, right? Snowfall is very common during the winter. So, the plants and animals which someone's camera is on, switch it off. Everyone switch off your camera and microphone. So, during the winters, what are you doing? So, during the winter, snowfall may occur. And there are a large variety of plants and animals living in the mountain regions. Okay, yes, why, who is sharing the screen? Don't do this. Okay. Nilanjan, what are you doing? Who is sharing the screen? Stop sharing. Moina, what are you doing? Why every time I am getting complaint about you? Don't disturb the class. Okay, so that in the mountain regions there is a large variety of plants and animals living in the mountain region. Okay, now if you have visited mountain once, then you have seen that a large number of trees which are having some special features. What are they? That the leaves of the trees are cone shaped and they are having sloping branches. Okay, so these type of trees can be found in the mountain area. So what are the main properties of that can be found in the trees available in the mountains? These are that trees are adapted in the condition to that snowy and cloudy, to adapting them in themselves in the snowy and cloudy and cold environment. They have made their shape like cone shape. This is called as, you can call them as conifers, and the leaves of these trees are also needle like. So first one is that the trees are adapted to such cold snowy climate. First criteria is that they are having cone shape and have sloping branches. Okay, so they are shape of the trees are cone shaped and they are having this type of sloping branches. Okay, and have needle like leaves, and their leaves are mainly needle like. These adaptation help the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. Now just imagine if the snow falls on the top of the tree or on the other parts of the tree, as they are having this type of sloppy nature, the snow will fall off very easily. Okay, and this is helping them to survive in the mountain region. And that are the different criteria of plants having which are staying in the mountain region. Now if I consider the animals which are living in the mountain region, usually they are light or whitish type of in color. Why? Because this helps them to camouflage with the surrounding. I am repeating that the animals in this region, that means the animals that are found in the mountain regions, are usually white or light colored. Why? Because this light or whitish type of color helping them to hide inside the snow or the camouflage with the surroundings. Okay, because when the snow will fall, the surrounding will appear as whitish type of color. So this color will help them to camouflage with the surrounding. And second main property is that they have thick skin or fur to protect them from the cold. They are having very thick skin or fur for protecting their body from the cold. Now you have to know about the some example. First example is yak. Okay, first example is yak, and yak is having long hair. This keeps their body warm. Okay, and this the skin, they have, yaks are having long hair to keep their body warm. Next one is snow leopard. Snow leopard. Okay, next one is snow leopard. Snow leopard has thick fur on its body, including feet and toes. They are having thick fur on not only on the body, in the feet and toes also. Okay, this protects its feet from the cold when they are walking on the snow, as they have to walk on the snow. That's why their feet and toes are covered with thick skin. Clear? And the last one is, the last example is the mountain goat, which are having strong hooves. Which are having strong hooves for running the rocky slopes of the mountain. Okay, as you know that the shape of the mountains is like that, so the goat have to run on that slope. So for running on the rocky slopes of the mountain, the goat are having strong hooves. Okay, so these are the main criteria of plants and animals which are living in the mountain region. In my next class, I will discuss about the grassland region and some aquatic habitats. Up to this portion, clear everyone? Okay, so thank you everyone and bye for today. Take care.